I do have some, I believe, three channel messages that came through while I was shuffling the cards. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that and incorporate that into the reading. I feel for this month on the career front, on the professional front, a lot of you are negotiations regarding you taking on additional responsibilities or taking on new responsibilities as well with the supervisor or the manager that you were working under. I feel like there has been some type of an agreement that has been reached, negotiations, like either verbal or written agreements, where you are taking on additional responsibilities and you're going to be interacting with quite a few people outside of your work environment as well. So, altogether, it indicates to me you're going to be charting new territories this month, doing something that you haven't. I'm seeing like leading people and as well as doing something that is outside of your usual work um, areas of expertise. Okay, so you're charting new territory, you're learning new skills, you're leading a lot of people, and you're managing other people as well. So the energy for this month is very, very other oriented, and it comes out in a way where you're going to have to find the best solution in order to accommodate other people, in order to either make money through that, and the things that you say, the skills that you bring to the table, and as well as your calm demeanor, exercising a lot of patience, exercising your ability to compromise or relying on your ability to compromise is going to be the ways in which you can earn a lot of money for this month. I feel a lot of you are either doing training seminars, or you are doing a lot of consultancy work, or you're doing a lot of sales where you are heavily um, inundated with a lot of responsibilities as it pertains to trying to cater to other people, consulting with other people where you are telling them how to do a specific project, how to do something, as well as trying to accommodate other people in order to make in order to get them to your side, in order to get them on board so that you can, close some, sign some contracts, close some sales. Okay, so it looks very good financially and just professionally. I feel like it's going to be a very powerful month. So, having said that, in the 10th house, which is your career, we have here the Six of Cups. So, whatever opportunities are coming through for this month, coming into the picture, and whatever people are coming to you with in terms of like, do you want to get involved with this project? Do you want to work with this organization? The answer here is yes. Whatever comes through, it is meant to be for you. I feel like a lot of you are going to have a lot of people headhunting you or soliciting you to get involved with them. Okay, so on the professional front, on the financial front, there will be many, many options to choose from, and you're trying to find the most viable option. You're trying to, I feel like you might have, many, many irons in the fire. So that can mean basically having many portfolios that you're handling. So you could be, in the process of like, or you might be in a work environment where you are handling other people's financial investments. You're waiting for things to mature. You're waiting on a situation to come full circle before you decide to either sell it or to expand and buy more stock options, more investment opportunities. So there will be financiers, investors as well coming through, and they're going to want you to ally up with them. And I feel like a lot of you are a little bit hesitant about doing this, mainly because you might be doubting your skills. Okay, so whatever you went to school for, you feel like because you're stepping out of your comfort zone, because you are charting new territory for this month. I feel like the main theme is that you need to have a lot of faith in yourself, and you feel almost as if you don't have the necessary skills in order to do something, in order to successfully complete a project or implement a project. So I feel like your business acumen is going to be tested for this month, and just trust that you have the capabilities and the skills and don't doubt yourself. I also feel your leadership capabilities are going to be tested for this month, where the spotlight is kind of like shining on you, and you're going to have to make a situation, like turn the situation around. And in the process of doing that, you might feel as if people are working at cross purposes with you, but I feel like it's more like hidden agendas here. things are not explicitly out in the open. So if you can communicate in a way that will allow people to see what your intentions are. So be very transparent and work from a space where you let other people see that, hey, we're all working together for a common purpose. So even though people might have different agendas, we need to come together in a way to, allow for the optimal outcome for the group or for everybody as a whole. So there will be some unraveling, communication issues that's coming through, and it's actually normal because we're heading into a Mercury retrograde to sift through the facts and to understand people's hidden agendas and hidden motives. That's going to be very crucial. Okay. If you are doing anything where you are dealing with like financial transactions, financial dealings, and I'm seeing a lot of accountants as well, there will be situations where you have to kind of like unearth the truth, dig out the paperwork, sort through the paperwork to make sure everything is legitimate before you can turn in, the contracts, before you can turn in the portfolio, before you can turn in the paperwork. So there's a lot of dynamic energy, honestly, and I feel like your work environment is going to take up a lot of your time. And as a result of that, when it comes to fun and excitement, first of all, we have here the Hermit. So your opportunities for going out socializing and things like that, I feel like they might be a little bit limited, mainly because you're in high demand in the work front, and there's also a lot of paperwork for you to finish up in the work environment, okay? Additionally, I feel many of you are staying up very late doing like preparations, either for teaching, for those of you who are teachers, or doing some type of a major sales pitch or even a major presentation. I'm seeing like PowerPoint slides and things like that, doing preliminary research or doing like additional research in order to rehearse a sales pitch, in order to rehearse something that you're supposed to present to a group of people. So your opportunities for outing and socializing, even socially dating, is going to be a little bit I feel like it's going to be curbed, but because it's such an important career month, I feel that you're not going to stress over it. You're not going to feel inundated, okay? It's a very light, buoyant energy, and I feel like there is also this investigative type of energy coming in where you're digging up information so that you can problem solve. And I feel like that's really going to appeal to the detective inside you. Okay. So I feel like it's a really, other oriented month, but I feel like trying to figure out where other people's true intention, what other people's true intentions are, and where people might, say one thing and mean another, and you are going to have to work to navigate this energy of nuances and where the communication is not very direct. I feel like that's going to be the bulk of what you're dealing with in the professional front. So let me talk about the relationship, because this card really, struck out at me. So we have here the relationship sector in the 7th house, and I'm talking about romantic relationships first, okay? With the 4 of Wands, this is a long-standing marriage situation where it is being re-examined. It's being re-examined to see whether or not financially it is still a good venture for both parties. And you're looking at this situation as well to see if emotionally it is still a good thing for the two of you to stay together. I feel that many relationships will be tested for this month, okay? And especially for those of you who are married, I do sense, especially if you've been like married for like 5 or 8 years, I do sense a relationship is coming to an end, okay? And this is not coming in as a surprise. I feel like you might have consulted either divorce lawyers, you might have consulted the other person to talk about, separation, dividing up assets and things like that. So I feel like some relationships that are, conducive for a relationship that is a marriage relationship that has been a little bit problematic for the past 3 years. I feel like those relationships are coming to an end for this month. And then for those of you who are newly married in a stable relationship, try to spend time with your significant other this month. I feel like the work front is going to occupy the majority of your time, and your relationship partner is feeling a little bit neglected. I also feel as well, in the work front, there will be opportunities for you to travel. And there will be opportunities for you to network with many, many people in your professional circle. And so make sure that you leave adequate time for your romantic partner and your relationship partner. So it's a very career oriented type of month. And I feel like for some of you, the relationship, honestly, you might put that on the back burner. And so moving forward here, let me talk about the communication aspect, because that's really important during a Mercury retrograde period. So it's going to run information that has been hidden from us comes to light. And you might accidentally stumble upon information. You might accidentally hear through the grapevine, unintentionally, something that you've been wanting to know. You're going to get some answers that comes out in the open, okay? So I feel like you might have had some unanswered questions regarding your relationship sector and regarding partners as well and regarding financial dealings in the past, but all of this information will be coming into the picture for you. I feel though it's going to happen towards the tail end of the month rather than the beginning. Because the beginning, it feels like there's a lot of new contracts that is being signed, negotiations, and new work responsibilities that you're taking on. So I feel like that's the continuation of it for the beginning, like first 3 weeks of the month, and then towards the end of the month, reassessment is happening because information comes to light. Okay. So just be careful about this energy, because I feel like you might have a way in which you feel like, okay, this is going to pan out this way, such and such, it's going to happen in such a way. But I feel like there are going to be a few unexpected like surprises, and there will be a few issues that creep up, especially dealing with like clients. I feel like these issues are going to creep up out of the blue, and you're going to have to do some damage control possibly, okay? In your housing situation here, I do have a lot of expenditures in the household, and I feel like it is coming through for home repairs or even like physical renting a space for you and your significant other, or you and your family unit. So I do feel, for the past few months, I felt like you guys are looking to implement like either move away or to find a bigger environment. And I feel like some of you are still on the tail end of this, where you're thinking about where we need to go and what you need to do. I do see a generational home here. If you have been grown up, if you're used to grown up in a family dynamic where there has been like, many different generations under one roof, such as living with grandparents, living with grandchildren as well. I feel like some people are going to be leaving the nest. And then for others, there's more people entering the nest. Okay, so there's either a contraction for some of you in your housing environment in terms of like how many people are living there, or an expansion for some of you in terms of adding new members into the family unit. And I feel like, the geographical, like the physical space itself might feel a little bit small and crowded. And so some of you are thinking about, making major moves as well in your housing sector. Okay. And it's going to be good for you, because I feel like financially you can afford it. And you need your own space just to have your comfort zone and to have your haven to come home to after a rough day at work. So that's going to be really important, especially if you're in a relationship as well. That's going to give you the privacy and also that personal space to invite a partner into the fold, okay? The last thing I'm feeling here with this spread is that there will be situations in which self-doubt will come through in the picture. And I feel like it deals heavily with communication. I'm seeing that many of you are going to be dealing with, they're saying foreigners, okay? So people that might be culturally, ethnically, linguistically different from you. So they might be communicating from afar, although I feel like they're still going to be in your vicinity in some way. But keep in mind that we want to, really understand. It's important for you to really understand where the other person's coming from. So it's almost like you and the other person, or the other people, are working towards a common purpose, but the ways in which you express yourself, it might not seem that way. It might seem a little bit more competitive or combative. And so just, keep yourself centered and keep in mind that we're all coming from the same source, right? We all want the same things, and we all want like smooth communication and smooth compromises and smooth uh, arrival at a common consensus among people. And so that's going to be an area of contention because you might not feel like you know where they're coming from. They likewise might not know where you're coming from. And so approaching communication, approaching other people, especially if they're culturally different from you, doing so in a more open-minded, open-hearted approach, that's going to be very pivotal. Okay, that's going to smooth out the interaction, and it's going to allow all of you to work together to build something of value together as a unit. So don't work at cross purposes with one another. If the environment seems a little bit tense, take a step away from it and then come back to it at a later date. Okay. So I feel like major deals will be struck for this month. Major accomplishments, major milestones in your professional life will be reached for this month. And so I would say you have the skills that you need. And whatever you feel like you are lacking, you can definitely try to cultivate those skills based on the work that you're doing for this month. So the new skills that you learn, the new people that you meet, and whatever projects you're taking on, you are exactly where you're meant to be. And so don't question, your direction. Don't question your sense of competence, and also whether or not you're I guess like you possess the skills necessary to do a specific task. I feel like generally, when I think about Taurus people, you have a really good sense of direction and you have great situational awareness. And I feel like, they can plop you in the middle of town square in a foreign country and you walk around a bit and you're going to figure out where you are. You know how to find your way back home. You know where you're supposed to go. So directionally, you are very oriented, and situationally, you have great awareness. And so if you extend that metaphor to life overall, because you have the capability to know where you're supposed to go, you are also in a very good position to lead people. If people are just kind of like walking around, not having their own sense of direction and feeling lost all the time, lost like either physically, emotionally, or just mentally, they feel a little bit lost, they feel a little bit uncertain. You have the skills to be a leader, to lead them to where they need to be, okay? So just know that and don't doubt your capabilities. I feel like some of you have a little bit of a chip. This is just a very few of you have a little bit of a chip on your shoulders regarding your level of educational attainment. So some of you might have dropped out of high school, might not have finished, college, or you feel like you might have been educated in a foreign country and you come to the wherever you are right now and you feel like the credentials don't carry over, so you might have to start at the beginning. You might have to learn a new language even. And I feel like because of these things, they serve as barriers for you where you feel kind of out of it's like a fish out of water. You feel like you're not in your comfort zone. You feel out of place, or you feel that physical displacement. And so the energy coming through for this month is to tell you, you always know where you're supposed to be, and you always know where you're supposed to go. So don't doubt it, okay? Don't ruminate over the things that happened in the past that you can't change. Just think about everything that you're offering or everything that you're putting up on the table right now for this month. You have a lot of people soliciting you to get involved with them, social functions or even professional associations. And you get to pick and choose. And you have a lot that you're bringing to the table as well. But I feel like some of you are feeling a little bit uncertain, unsure whether or not you're cut out for the job. So that's something I feel like it's an internal conflict that you're going to have to grapple with for this month. But I would say that whatever skills you feel you're lacking, you're going to be able to pick it up in your career sector for this month, in your work sector as well. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else coming in. Okay, so I'm actually going to go into your love relationship reading, and I'm going to leave this card out because it comes through in your seventh house, and seventh house deals with work partnerships as well as relationships, like personal romantic relationships. And let's just see. Okay, so for those of you who are a little bit, I would say like a little bit on the older end of the age spectrum, and I would say like around 40 and above. I feel almost as if some of you, like you go through life and you might have had like a failed marriage under your belt, for example, or you might have waited for the Mrs. Right, Mr. Right for a really long time, and you dated some relationships that you feel went nowhere. And so in the past, you might have gone into dating, into love, looking for that soul connection, looking for that marriage. But at this point in your life, I feel some of you are feeling a little bit jaded, a little bit disillusioned, and it's almost as if you don't believe in love anymore. Like you don't believe in stability in love anymore, and you feel like, oh, everybody changes, feelings change. And so why get involved with another person? So you might be thinking about having open relationships. You might be a little bit more willing to experiment with either long distance relationships, open relationships, or something, a relationship that is a little bit on the unconventional front, okay? And I feel for some of you, there might have been like a marriage under your belt and a marriage that didn't work. So it's taken you to this point where you feel a little bit disillusioned about work, about love and romance overall. And then others of you, your work situation is occupying so much of your time that you might not have time to date. And so some of you are doing the matchmaking, like physically looking for, you're putting, for example, you're doing online dating. You're putting it out there. I'm looking for a love relationship that's going to lead to marriage. So you're being very clear about your intentions. And because you're being so clear about your intentions as well, I'm sensing that you're going to be able to meet people who are like-minded, okay? Who might have themselves gone through a failed relationship, like a failed marriage, and they're looking for somebody as well to jump into a committed relationship with. But it's still going to take some time, and they want you to take it slowly. And it's also Mercury in retrograde. What you see is not what you get. So be a little bit more careful when you are meeting new people for the first time, okay? Take things extra slow, because I feel like there is a heavy romantic fog coming in, like wafting, when the Mercury retrograde period is completely out. And by that time, new information will come to light. And by that time as well, people will show their true colors. So, just be a little bit careful. So let me talk about the foundation first, because this is, the cards are coming through strongly. You already know. We have here the Ten of Wands. This is you feeling inundated with all the responsibilities in your life. The kids, the dating, the work situation. I feel like everything is just picking up a lot for you guys for this month. And I feel like it's a heavy work energy. It's like, I feel like even on the weekends, you might be answering work calls. Even after hours, you might be sending out estimates. Even, like even before work, before you even get out of bed, there's clients contacting you. So you're doing a lot of carrying other people's burdens for this month, and you're doing a lot of communicating with other people, like throughout, your whole day. And because of that, you might not have the adequate time to date for those of you who are single. For those in relationships, I feel like you might feel a little bit emotionally or physically estranged from your partner, mainly because on the work front, things are getting so hectic and so busy. What I have here as well is the Three of Coins. This is a situation where there might have been some type of a consultation with either a lawyer or even, like a counselor. And I feel like there are legal issues such as separation, child custody issues coming through in the picture. There might have been somewhat of an unfair child custody agreement where one parent feels as if they have to take care of everything as it relates to the child. And so renegotiating arrangements, that's going to alleviate a lot of your burden, and that's going to allow you that extra free time, okay? To take care of other things in your life and to also allow you to prioritize your love life. So I feel like some of you are single because of the work responsibilities and also because of child rearing responsibilities. And you're not in a position where you're able to put yourself out there. And even if you are able to put yourself out there, there are time constraints as to when you're available to meet the other person. And so it's almost like a previous relationship affecting new relationships because of the responsibilities from that previous relationship. So that's what I feel here. In the past, we have here the King of Coins and the Knight of Wands. So some of you are involved here with this person, and this is a very, very solid relationship, and you might still be with them. This is a Taurus, Virgo, or a Capricorn, so possibly another Taurus. If you're with this person, you might be thinking about marriage. You might already be married to them, and the housing situation needs a change, okay? And then for others of you, we have here a fire sign. So a Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo. This is somebody that you are, I feel like you made your feelings known to them. And they're not the relationship, like they're not ready for a relationship, or there might have been a situations where they think you want something, like they think you want fun and games and just, like a lighthearted social dating experience, but I feel that you want it more from this person. So we have here somebody who is a little bit more on the afraid of commitment side. They might or might not still be in the picture, but I feel like you guys are either dealing with here an earth sign or a fire sign. And it seems to me like there's an energy here of it's hard to work out the logistics to have this person as a long-term partner, or you might be in a relationship with this person already as a marriage type of a situation, but it's kind of hard to navigate each other's energies too. It's kind of hard to do things together as a unit because of time constraints, because of even geographical location as well. So I feel like there is a fire sign here who's like in and out of the picture, okay? And there is also an earth sign who is consistently in the picture. So we have some opposing energies where one person is very, very stable, reliable, and just, established. And then the other person is just kind of floating around trying to figure out their career. So professionally, I guess like you're not at a great you're not at the same point in your professional life in order to have a stable relationship. It doesn't mean that it can't work, but I feel like it's still, it's still in the process of trying to calibrate itself, like self-calibrate is what I'm getting. So at the center of the spread, we have here the Seven of Wands and the Page of Wands. So there is going to be a lot of communication between you and your partner. And for some reason, even if you're living together in the same house, I feel like you're communicating with each other electronically. So I'm sensing I'm sensing a lot of text messages. It might be because you're working at different hours and than they are, and so you're communicating from afar. And then for others of you, we have this fire sign here. If in the past they've been bouncing in and out of your life, I feel like they're going to have good news coming through from their end. And I feel like it's going to allow you both to decide whether or not it's going to be a viable relationship. So I rarely say this. If you have been a consistent viewer of my channel, if there has been like a contentious relationship, I rarely tell people to get back with exes because it's served its time, it's served its season, and so it's important for us to learn the lesson of letting go. But I feel like there's a change around in someone's energy. If you're dealing with a fire sign, so Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. If they have been, for whatever reason, kind of in and out of the picture, I feel like they're making a comeback, and I feel like there's a lot more stability coming into their lives. So you're going to hear from this person, and there's going to be good news associated with whatever they're going through. They're going to have some good news to tell you on a personal basis, okay? If you have been sort of like if they've been in and out of your life in a way where you feel almost as if you can't really communicate with them, you feel like you don't want to express your feelings first, I feel like they're going to be the one to make the love gesture towards you. So for those who are single and dating, I feel like you've got an admirer here. And then for others who are in a relationship and you're not really sure where things are headed with this fire sign, it seems like they're going to be making a love gesture towards you. So they're coming towards you and they're going to communicate with you. And then others, I feel like you're dealing with some tail end of a divorce situation. Okay, so that's for those of you in a long-standing coupled relationship where you might potentially be married to another person, to that person. Crowning this reading is something that you're thinking about. We have here the devil, and the devil indicates very, very strong physical attraction that you feel with another person. So this is a situation, and I feel like, it's going to go three ways for many of you. The first is that you have really, really strong physical chemistry with another person, possibly a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. And the physical chemistry is really strong. It's almost like you can't get your hands off each other. But trying to build a relationship together, you don't know how that's going to work, okay? So there might be either geographical distance, you might be on top of your career, they might not. They might be on top of their career and you're not. And so I feel like there's a power differential, and it translates over to financial differential between the two of you. And so you feel that this relationship is not stable enough, okay? And then the second scenario is, I feel like there's a dependency issue. You are married to somebody that might have dependency issues on you. So I feel like one person is earning all the money and the other person is not contributing. And so there is kind of like this undercurrent of resentment in the relationship. And if this is what you're dealing with, it's on its way out. So it's going to lead to I feel like one partner or both partners have already consulted, divorce lawyers, have already consulted either like a financial planner to see if they were to liquidate all their assets, what's going to happen. So I feel like that relationship is on its way out. So I see heavy dependency issues. I see heavy inequality in the relationship where one person is bearing the brunt of the responsibilities and the other person is not contributing. And I feel this relationship is almost on its way out. If this is a new relationship, it can be salvaged, but I feel like you're no longer emotionally invested in it. Okay, and it seems almost as if you might stay together for security reasons rather than love. And so some of you are thinking about this heavily and you're not really sure what to do. And so they're telling you here in the outcome position, if you're dealing with that. Oh, actually, let me talk about that third scenario. The third scenario here is I do see there is an element here about feeling taken for granted, feeling almost as if you contributed a lot and the other person is not doing their fair share of the work, or that energy is flowing like, from your partner to you or from you to your partner. But I feel like that third scenario deals with a situation where we might be tempted outside of our relationship because our current relationship is not meeting our expectations, okay? Which brings us to the outcome. We have here the Death card, which is you moving away from a situation that has been very problematic. You might not have wanted to do it willingly, but I feel like you don't really have much of a choice because they're saying there is here a foundation that is built in a wrong manner, and it can't be fixed, okay? So with the Death card, it's sort of like that final blow. And I feel that some of you are going to be moving away from relationships that have been very unbalanced, that have been quite a bit toxic. And the key word being codependent. One person was doing all the work and the other person was I just feel like very heavy imbalances, and one person did everything and the other person didn't contribute. Okay, so you're going to be moving away from that, and which is a good thing because you have a lot of great energy coming through for you, and they're telling you to basically shake off old relationships and try to move on into a better horizon for yourself. We have as well the Three of Cups, and the Three of Cups is, third party interference. A lot of the times, this can also indicate the energies of in laws interfering in your relationship. If you're living with a partner and you're living with like extended family members, I feel like that's going to be a source of contention. You're going to be relocating away from that, okay? So that can be physically relocating or even just moving physically away from that relationship altogether. So that's going to depend on which Taurus you are. But I feel like this isn't a decision that you're making lightly. You've been ruminating over this, possibly for the past 8 months, and you feel very stuck in your present predicament. You feel almost as if your energy is sapped in a relationship where you feel like it's like feeling as if you have to walk on eggshells around each other, and feeling as if accusations are being thrown about. So there's a lot of built up like resentment coming through, and I feel almost like built up animosity against each other. And in that environment, even if the kids are involved, I feel that you're going to be shifting away from that, okay? And you're going to start over and start on a new phase in your life. If there has been lingering legal issues, I feel like it's going to come to a very good compromise for this month. And if there has been any type of like I feel like custody issues as well when it comes to children. If you feel like the custody arrangements are not fair and you're getting another court hearing, I feel like it's going to land in your favor. Okay, so the time that the children are dividing up between like different parents, I feel like it's going to be a lot more fair for both parents and also in the best interest of the children. So it looks really good. For singles, dating, I just feel like I'm sensing that honestly, some of you are very shy and you're not putting yourself out there. And then for others of you, you might have gone through a period of dating, right? And the people don't exactly meet your expectations. And I'm feeling like, I feel like most of you are quite picky about who you date, you and Virgos. I feel like Capricorns are probably the most, I feel like they're the most open-minded of, they're more, a little bit more experimental than, of all the earth signs. But I feel like you and Virgos, you're quite picky about the types of people that you date. And you might have gone through, your dating routine and feeling like you can't really connect with another person. And I feel for those of you who have recently dated, there's going to be a fire sign reaching out to you, and you're not going to be sure what to do here. I feel for some of you, you might be steering away from it, like exiting it altogether and not wanting to engage with them. But I feel like they are pretty honest and sincere. I feel there was a kind of like a run-in between you and them in the past. You might have waited for them, and then they, for whatever reason, might have taken you for granted. They're coming back in again, and I feel their energy is actually very conciliatory. So like they're a little bit more easier, like they're easier to manage, or they are more willing to reconcile. They're more willing to address what they did wrong. So they're not coming through with defensiveness or with, hostile energy. They're coming in wanting to compromise with you. And so I do see reconnecting with a fire sign for those of you who are still feeling it with that person. And for those who are not, I feel like you're going to be moving quickly away from this, okay? So I feel like the love situation for you guys, it's very cut and dry. It's very clear cut, and it's very, I feel like the direction is very singular. Whether it's going to work, direct. I do sense for some of you in the past, you might have waited for a fire sign. You were waiting for them to get their life together. You were waiting for them to give you a definite answer as to, how they feel about you, where they stand with you, and they might have been a little bit evasive. And you then moved away from it. And I feel like because of it, they're coming back. and they're a little bit more sure this time about where they want to go and what they want to do with you. So that's good, okay? So, Taurus, I do wish you the best. Have a wonderful birthday as well. Enjoy the rest of your month. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me as well, the information for my appointment as well as my availability and to book the actual appointment, it is in the description box below. And also, if you'd like to donate to the channel, greatly appreciated. It's the link is also in the description box below. Okay. I wish you the best. Take care of yourself, and I'll be back as well for the mid-month reading. Okay. I'll see you in about a few days. Okay. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.